episode of Orsini's Uncensored Mind contains explicit language and adult content. The thoughts and opinions stated on this show are reflective of AJ Orsini, the Steve Dave, and their guests exclusively. Seriously, guys, my dada and uncle say some pretty crazy stuff. If it offends you, go be butthurt somewhere else.
Welcome to Orsini's Uncensored Minds, and now your host, AJ Orsini with Dave.
Hey, love it. How the hell is everybody out there? It's your boys yet again with a very special episode because I get to count backwards. It's episode 321, or as my son said earlier, episode 321. And I am not alone. Don't let the question mark fool you. Dave, are you here?
Not only am I here, but I'm here early.
Oh, we are ahead of schedule here. First, with our new setup here for CD's Uncensored Mind, and I'm digging it. I had to shovel my chicken pita meal. I was in the middle of cooking. I usually cook for the family before we record, so that I could, we
could have waited.
No, when you leave the bowls out for your pets, so you can go handle your business.
It's done.
Yeah.
Go feed yourself.
Yeah, it's so you make the food, you just set it on the counter with some lids, and you go, all right, I'm going in the room for the next 2 hours, leave me alone. So that's what happened. I had to set the bowls out real quick, and then I come in here and record. That's all that was. So everything is all set in the other room here. Quick parenting note. I would like to throw something out here for the people out there. My son is 10, and he's working awfully hard to not make it to fucking 11. Like he's really irking me. Yesterday he had okay, to explain how bad yesterday was, my son today came home from school, politely asked for me and my wife to sit down in the living room so he could look at us and go, listen, yesterday was not my best day. I'm sorry for yesterday. That's how bad yesterday was. The boy forgot his math book somewhere. He didn't know where it was. We just fucking started school. The book is gone. He has a T-Mobile Sync watch where I'm able to communicate with him through text, possible calls, and we can track it when he's on the bus just to make sure, how long we have until we have to pick him up, yada. He started Taekwondo again. He took the summer off, and he's back in Taekwondo. He started yesterday. He changed it to his gi, and normally when he changes, he takes off the watch. He gives it to either me or my wife, and for whatever reason, he changed into the gi and put his watch on the hook where you would put hoodies and coats and shit in the dressing room and just fucking walked off. And just did his Taekwondo, and we all get home. And no, I'm thinking the whole time either he or my wife has the watch, no biggie. We get ready for bed, and I look over at his desk. I said, where's your watch? And you know that mannerism you do when somebody asks you, where's your keys? And you start patting your pants and shit. He starts patting things. I'm like, you're wearing pajamas, homie. It's not on you. Where's the watch?
It's not on you.
And he starts looking around the living room. He's like,
he knows.
I don't know.
The moment you said it, he knew.
And then I go, because technically the person who helped him change out of the key was Steph. So I said, Steph, did he hand you the watch? And they're like, no. So remember, I said I could track it. So I went on my phone, I tracked it. It was in the Taekwondo dojo, in the place. So I said, fuck, I got to go all the way over there to go get it now. So I called, nobody answered the phone, and then I realized that we figured out that the watch was there at like 8:57. They close at 9. So I was like, wow, that has to be there all night and all day tomorrow now. So, otherworldly pissed. So for anybody looking for a used 10-year-old boy, I'm taking offers. He's highly intelligent.
He is smart.
He is smart.
Somewhat self-efficient.
Yeah, somewhat self-sufficient. He just has the responsibility level of a fucking porcupine. I don't know, a fucking loose tennis sock. He's not responsible for shit. He just.
In his defense, I'm the same way today.
He just flutters through shit.
Me too.
It's fucking aggravating so fucking much. Yeah, but you're an adult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But what's your point? That's worse.
No. But see, what happens is, as an adult, when you make that kind of mistake, you have to suffer the consequences yourself, and you're prepared to do so. You'll kick yourself, you'll cuss a bunch of times, but you'll go through it. He doesn't. When he forgets the math book, we have to communicate with the teacher to find out what the hell we need to do as far as either replacing it or... By the way, he got the book back today. He figured out at school where it was. But we were trying to find, like, PDF versions of the book, and there was a whole work we have to do. He loses the watch. I got to buy another watch. This motherfucker doesn't have watch money. So it's like...
If he gets married, he can delegate that to his significant other.
Oh, yeah. That's what we need now. Another man subjugating himself to the whims of his woman. No, we don't need that shit happening.
No, we need more.
That'll be the fucking day.
You gotta delegate that shit, dude.
No, we gotta nip that shit in the bud. You ain't gonna get handheld by no lady, nowhere. Get the fuck out of here.
Hell yeah. Hand hold me, baby. Take me where I need to go. Listen, I brought the food on the table and I pay the bills. You're gonna have to guide me the rest of life, buddy.
I want to be the little
Baby
spoon
me.
too.
Hell yeah. Hold me, baby. Make me feel safe.
Yeah, word. What's that sound in the kitchen? Go check. It's your turn.
Come check. Hey, listen. I reached over, grabbed the shotgun. Here you go, sweetie. Take care of that shit.
Shotgun. There's a baseball bat around here somewhere. Here you go. Hand-to-hand combat, like a real man would. Go out there and do what you gotta do. Oh,
Hell
shit.
Yeah.
So he had me fucked up yesterday. I'm glad yesterday was yesterday and not today, because I don't know. I was red hot, fuming. And I think what makes me more mad is that we both know that he's an intelligent kid. So when he does stupid shit, it's like almost like times 5. Because you don't normally do stupid shit. So now when you do stupid shit, it's just like, Jesus fucking Christ. I can't even be that bad because it rarely happens, but when it happens, oh baby. I was like, Jesus.
You're so spoiled. The mildest of inconvenience.
Well, the watch is not a minor inconvenience. That would have fucking cost me. And that you mess with a man's pockets, I got to. That's when you forget to unplug the tub, or you didn't clean your room Sunday morning. Okay, fine, right? You're a kid. Shit happens. You mess with a man's pockets. I got to deal with you like a man. I can't treat you like a boy no more. Now you're fucking with my. Now you're fucking with my green.
He gonna fuck you up.
Where? Yeah, all right. I've seen that. I've seen.
He gonna sweep the leg.
Yeah, where
you gonna be sitting there with the I eat ass face. I've
seen the type of boards he's breaking in class. I'm good. I'm all right. Plus, the way Alex is built, if he tries to come at me physically, I'll just hurt him with words. That's it. That's it. That's his weakness. We have to hit Alex where it hurts the most. His emotional status. Yeah, you have to hit him. You can hurt me, Alex, but I might die. You're like, oh, I don't want to lose my father, and then it turns into a whole thing. You have to. You have to hit him spiritually.
His childhood trauma while he's still a child.
Yeah, I know. You remember that time we helped you when you had acid reflux when you was a baby? Yeah, you have to hit him where it hurts. You have to hit him in his souls. Nothing hurts more than a gut punch with disrespectful words.
In your heart.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Anyway, we're rambling here. I just wanted to start off with just getting that off my fucking chest. We're not talking about that on the show today. Let's talk about what we are talking on the show today.
Come on, don't keep us waiting. What's going to happen on the show today?
We're wandering off into the world of baseball. A tiger-striped vixen, a witch, a behemoth of Karen-like proportions took to the news. Everyone's laughing. Everyone's pointing at the hee-haw from New Jersey. We're talking about the Karen of baseball. Yes, she was mean to the old man who caved and gave the baseball to the mean old lady. We're going to talk about the mean old lady in the Phillies jersey here today on our first segment. Obviously, after that, we're going to be diving a little bit more into pop culture, but it still involves wrestling. It's kind of a mixture of the whole thing. I've got a beef with a Jew. I got words. and they must be spoken. Peter Rosenberg is in the crosshairs today. I'll explain what that means later on. Also, today is a special day. We have a treat. We have the return of a segment we've done recently, but not in a while, and a return of a segment we have not done in many, many years. But this was brought to my attention, and I felt this was hilarious enough for us to divulge more into. We have the return of the What the Fuck segment. We have a lady who ran the Lego 100-meter dash. That is a Guinness World Record. I'll tell you more later in this show. And we have the return of What If. What If, where we take a scenario that happened and say, what if it had gone just a little bit differently? On today's show, What If puts Vince McMahon into the crosshairs. And yes, it puts him in another legal battle, but this time we give it a different ending, and we see exactly where Vince, where the WWE wind up, where we think things would have gone. We talk about the possibilities on this What If segment. And, of course, in our main event, hell freezes over again. Mrs. Punk is back in the WWE. 5 feet, tiny fist of fury, back on WWE television, not just for a day, not just for a week, but for a multi-year situation. We break it all down here today on the show. We're jam-packed, lots of stuff to get to. Let's not wait any longer. Let's get right into the first segment.
Let's begin segment 1.
Baseball. Every segment from now on, we just do a one-word: football, baseball, just something, wrestling. Oh, man. The Karen of baseball. You know.
You hate to see it.
Go ahead. You hate to see it, you
I
say?
hate to fucking see it.
I was talking over it.
I don't think there was much. I don't think I need to really elaborate on that.
That one's on.
Hate to see it.
That one's on me. I didn't hear it clearly. I was still loading in my head. I had the pinwheel going. But yes, you do hate to see it, but it happened. There is a young. No, I was gonna say young woman. This woman grown as fuck. Now I had a name. The sleuths, so to speak, did their homework, and I got a name, but apparently the name is wrong. There's some buzz, there's some conversations taking place as to the true identity of this woman, so I'll leave the name out of it for now until we can get confirmation for sure which direction. I've heard things that she works at a school in New Jersey, and then that was proven to be false, and then she works at some other business industry that I don't know. We don't have it down for sure. All I know is that if I'm her, the first thing I do after this whole thing blew up is go to a hairdresser and fix all that, because I don't want to be recognized by anybody. That's a very distinct cut. There is a something about that haircut that just screams, but it is ma'am. There's something about that haircut, that hairdo that you probably should have seen this situation coming. I have this feeling coming into the ballpark, she was giving people hell. Something very, very Karen about that dude, but let's not discriminate here. It's baseball. That's what it really comes down to. It's baseball. And in baseball, the big muscular men take the baseball bat, they hit the ball as hard as they can, and when they do that, and the ball travels well over the wall and into the seats, they refer to that as a home run. It's worth 1 point for the batter, or if you've got guys already on base, those also count as points. If you get 4 of them, it's a grand slam. This was a regular home run into the stands, and it was hit in an area that was in a section that was, more than its fair share of empty. Hits the seats, it's bouncing around. The camera doesn't quite catch it. There's a bunch of hands in the way, and then this gentleman pulls the ball out of wherever that came from, pulls the ball out, holds.
Looks like he picked it up off the floor.
That's what it looks like, yeah. And then he raises it high to the air. He's all excited.
No one was near him either. Like he just.
Well, she did extend her hand out. She's in the shot.
No,
I just don't think she's got the ball.
No, I mean she was up in a different row. The ball landed in a row below her. and she missed the catch, and it looked like he literally just. I don't even think you recognize her there because when you see her approach, he almost is like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
It's like I don't even think he noticed her. That's what I mean. It was like a free walk up to the thing. He picked up the ball, ran back. This poor man is probably gassed, dude. Yes, I got my son a baseball on his birthday, dude. He's so fucking bad.
And then he takes the ball. It's over his head. He's celebrating. Immediately comes back to the family, puts the ball in the kid's glove. What a wonderful day. And about 0.3 seconds from putting the ball in that glove, here comes this beast.
Ball of fire.
Here comes this wild, wide-eyed fanatic, no pun intended, who starts screaming, "That ball is mine!" The close camera shot was the absolute best. Because before the close camera shot, which was the cell phone footage, the original footage is like the MLB footage. Like the long shot from the camera. And you can't hear anything. You could just see body language. And you could just see from the body language, she owned him. She was complete alpha in that situation. If he could have put his head down on between his legs and just showed her her belly, he would have. She's yelling and he's what? And then he's pointing to the area he got the ball. It was over there, and now I'm over here. Why are you over here? I was crying, and she's doing everything. All the cliche. She's got the hands in the face. She's doing the neck nod. Her bob is going to and fro. She's in full Karen attack mode. This entire deal. You could see with no audio the "let me speak to your manager" energy. It's right there on full display. If being a Karen was like being a Saiyan, she's level 3 right now. She
was Ultra Instinct. She had the white hair, dude.
I just want to hear the behind her. What the heck?
She was a ball of fire, man. She was about to have his ass.
Everything. Either he was going to give her the baseball or she was going to take both his balls. 2-for-1 deal. It was going to happen, one or the other. They're going at it. He takes the ball out of his son's glove and then gives it to her. And then does the little flick at the end. Like that's supposed to make up for the fact that you just took the ball out of your son's hand and just handed it to this loud, obnoxious woman. And then that's where the footage kind of ends because then she walks off. Everybody's cell phone footage then hits YouTube. And it's a collage of just the most irritating, disgusting fuck. There's people recording her on the camera. She's flipping people off. She's got the ball in her hand. She's mocking people with the ball. At one point, she leaves her row, goes down a few steps into another section, and gets into the face of another person. She owned right field on this day. Nobody was she was not backing down from a single fucking person.
All the smoke.
All of it.
Anything.
All of it. If she would have been allowed to walk at center field and just did a rotating bird to the entire fucking building, she would have. So I've got some information here. It says, while her real name has not been officially confirmed, there is a name that has been widely spread by the name of Cheryl Richardson Wagner. Although not...
Sounds about right.
With the hyphen, right? However, she publicly denied being involved, stating she's a Red Sox fan and wasn't even at the game. Another name, Leslie Ann Kravitz, also floated, but similarly debunked by her local school district. So they really don't know who this person is. And it's entirely hilarious that this whole thing is happening.
Internet slacking, man. They're usually on this shit.
Well, it's the color of the season. So another thing that I wanted to talk about, aside from the obvious hilarity that is the fact she literally walked over and neutered a grown man on live television. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to tell you this right here and right now. If either one of us would have caught a baseball and then put it into our kid's hand, your daughter, my son, and some lady came over barking at us about the ball, and I or you gave that ball up to this lady, our collective wives would have lost their fucking mind.
I wouldn't have had the chance.
No,
My wife would have snuffed her on the spot.
that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
On the spot.
But my wife would have moved me out of the way to start barking at this bitch. Especially considering our kids are involved. That would have brought out a whole different fucking
Her
side.
son, let me tell you something. I don't know. Listen, my wife loves her daughter. You will not fuck with her son. like, let me tell you something. If there's one thing, and I don't even know how to explain that without even trying to make it sound like it's different, but it's a little different. She'll kill for her. She'll kill for her daughter, but I don't even know how to explain what she would do.
It's funny because if your daughter or my son would have been older, like late teens or whatever, right? And she would have came over barking, my son would have been like, what are you so mad about? Sam would have just cut her. Like, there wouldn't have been a conversation. Sam would have just like, oh, word? I'm glad you came. I have something for you.
Yeah, Sam would have rolled up her sleeves like, yo, I had a bad today. I was looking for a reason. If she's anything like me, she's looking for the reason, bro. Yeah, that wouldn't have got off. I feel bad, though.
I prayed for this, and it happened. Like Drew McIntyre.
I feel bad because it's like, yes, we say that. We're not in this situation, although I can kind of bank on how I would react, but like I feel bad because I feel like he's getting killed, and he's kind of being called a little bit of a bitch here, like he was neutered, but like he can't really hit her. It's up to me. It was the mom that should have fucking like stepped up.
He doesn't have to hit her. Yell back or something. Call security or something. There's people there that take care of that situation.
I'm not yelling back at nobody. not a female. I'm not yelling back.
Oh,
like,
I'm yelling back.
I'm like, look, dude, you're gonna have to get out of my face. One or two things are gonna happen. You're gonna swing on me, and my wife's gonna kill you, or you're gonna walk away. Either way, I'm not raising my voice at a woman.
See, you're a decent human being because I would have yelled for sure, and if she would have swung, I would have caught a case because this bitch is going into the grass.
You would have countered.
I wouldn't have punched her in the face. I would have taken the hit, whatever it was, because I'm sure whatever was coming wasn't going to be. I would have picked her up, John Cena style, like the AA. Walked down the steps and AA that bitch onto the grass. She'd have been out of here. It's not going to happen. And then I would have did the fucking. I would have threw her and I would have did the Jushin Liger fucking taunt with the quick feet. That's it. It would have been over. It would have been over. They would have escorted me out, but I'd have had a baseball. Fuck it. That was a regular season
dub at the end, though.
See, yeah, and we were going to get to that. We'll get to it now because what ended up happening is I guess someone from the team saw it on the camera.
No.
Is that how that works?
No. Let's give the shout out correct.
Okay.
Let's give the deserved due because, in my opinion, after watching what you sent me, none of that would have happened if it wasn't for that person who made the call and everyone came to, and that was the fucking announcer. Oh. He absolutely killed that.
Yeah.
Did it so professionally, called him out, and was like, let's get somebody over there. That is completely ridiculous. Yeah. I forgot the word that he used. He used an insult, but I forget what it was.
Was it Bush League? I can't remember.
No, he's like it's like a dummy or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't a curse word, but it was an insult. And I was like, dude, he did that perfect. And I think because he said that, and that was in the ears of the people that run the building, they came into action.
Oh yeah.
If he didn't say anything, I don't think nothing happens.
Well, someone did come. There was a lady who came with a whole bag of assorted little different things. And I think the killer moment is they did the thing, which that would have been enough. If they would have come in, hey, we've got the balls for you. We've got this. We've got some loose merch for you. That's pretty cool. Getting to meet the player at the end of the game and then getting the autographed ball from the guy who hit the home run, that's a fucking win. I think that's a win. Meeting the fucking player himself and like getting the fucking ball signed, that's pretty fucking cool. That fucking lady is at home steaming mad. It should have been me. I should have met the baseball player. I should have gotten the home run. All that stuff.
No, that's fucking crazy work, dude. I don't know.
That fucking guy, that fucking kid is living my life. I should have been getting the autograph. It's me. It's all about me. I'm telling you how to throw. I would have. You remember the old No Mercy games, the wrestling games? From the NCAA, I would have brought her down the steps and thrown her over the railing. Eliminated. That's it. It would have been over, son. She would have been thrown over the top rope into the grass. Let her fucking figure that shit out. Get that shit out with a spatula. So yeah. So really quickly, when it comes to the actual argument, right? So there are people who actually did defend her in stating that. Because they're just taking it based on face value, right? She's saying that she had the ball in her hand, is what she's saying. She's saying she had the ball. I had the ball in my hand, and he ripped it out of my hand is essentially what she's saying. And to be fair, as someone who used to work at Yankee Stadium and have been to a lot of games and seen a lot of home runs hit, there are occasions where I have seen that. I have seen people catch the ball like foul balls, home run balls with their glove, and then someone reach into their glove and pull the ball out. I've seen the ball hit into bleachers or into empty seats, and the ball's bouncing, and someone legitimately does have it in their hand only to, on the way up, get it ripped like right out of their hands or to have their arms hit so it comes out of their hands, and now it's a free-for-all. I have seen that. That is a thing. But I didn't see it here. We're taking it based on face value.
Well, hold on. I might have to cut you off here for a second because I just watched it back. I just watched it. He kind of low-key looked like he ripped it out of her hand.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm pulling it back now, too.
Right now.
Yeah, she was in there. But the other thing is, she wasn't the only one in there. There's another guy next to her in a black shirt. That's like right. If anything, I think he's got the inside track on her too. He just happens to be. They're in a row that's elevated above, so she has to reach down farther than the guy in the red. The guy in the red is in the row that it's in. It's a much easier grab for him.
Those two might have been together. They're sitting right next to each other.
And look, you could see it right when he walks off, when the camera follows him. You could see her already begin her trot. She didn't waste a second.
Oh, no, she was on his ass.
She was on his ass.
Oh, no, I ain't go. Yo, what was that? Okay, rewatching this live right now. Like, that little eek. Like, he did. You couldn't hear him, but he looked like he made the sound like eek. Like, the way he waved his hands. This is weird. I don't know, man. She may not all the way be a villain here.
No, but here's the thing. No, but see,
if there was no kid. Okay, well, hold on.
There it is. There it is.
If there was no kid there, is he a dickhead?
I'm still not sure because I can't tell if he ripped it. I see her reaching for it. I don't see the recoil of having it in your hand.
I do.
And then having
ripped. I originally saw this on the phone, but now that I'm watching it on my computer, I don't know, man. He might be the dick for this, dude.
No, I see her scrambling. She's using two arms. I don't think she had it. I see her reaching down and scrambling. I don't see... Like, when you have something in your hand and someone rips it, your hand kind of goes with it for a second, and then it rips back. That's a recoil. I don't see that here. It's not like he snatched it and she tried to wrestle it out. I don't think she had it. I think she was close.
No. He moves her arm. I'm literally watching that shit in slow motion. Her arm was straight down, and then her arm goes into the direction of him when he pulls the ball.
But you know what? Here's the thing.
This guy's a dickhead.
Completely flipped.
I'm flipped.
I'm on the other
that
side.
Guy's a dick. No, fuck him. Hugging his son. Eek! That little fucking movie makes, dude. No, fuck this guy. We gotta get him out of here.
Here's the thing, though. And I've seen this happen a million times in sports, man. It's whoever walks away with the ball, man. She didn't walk away with the ball. That's it. She didn't have it. If she would have had it, then we would be having a different conversation.
She got it now.
She's got it now, but now the other family has so much more.
Yeah, do they?
Yeah, they do.
I don't know. This is you're right, but this is one of those public opinions that I think if there was no kid there, this guy would be getting killed right now.
Well, see, that's how the situation shifts. So there's a pecking order when it comes to that kind of stuff. The kid obviously should come first, right? In all situations in sports, this is not just baseballs, but when footballs get kicked into the crowd or handed to crowd members, and soccer, it happens. They give the jersey, and basketball, it happens. They'll give a shoe or a jersey or a game ball or something. It's always to the kid. If not the kid, then yeah, it usually tends to go to a girl or to the wife or a senior citizen or whatever the case may be. It's usually the guy last. So in this particular case, like if I saw 4 people going for the ball, 3 men, 1 woman, what changes the dynamic is the 1 woman. In that case, if there's no kids involved at all whatsoever, yeah, they probably should have let her get the ball. But if it was 4 dudes, it's a fist fight. I don't give a shit who walks away with the fuck. Whoever walks away with the ball and a few tendons or whatever, I don't give a fuck. That's how that goes. The kid being involved is what makes it tricky, because if there's no kid and he snatches the ball and walks off back to his seat and she follows him to curse him out the way that he did, it does still become a scene. It's a whole deal. Yeah, he probably should have let you get the ball because of the situation, but I think the actual act of her trailing this motherfucker through seats and then just getting into his face and the whole, that's aggressive for a ball. Even if there was no kid involved, it's still a little aggressive. Especially, see, the fucked up part about me is that I think by that inning I would have already have been like 4 beers deep. And I don't think that situation would have been handled correctly at all. So I'm thinking about it from the other side of it by saying, like, I think the kid saves him in this situation. I'll give you that. But even if there was no kid, I still don't follow me, walk up to me and get in my face like I'm this docile motherfucker. You're making a tremendous mistake right now coming over here and starting this shit for a ball. You know, I don't know.
I don't know. Because that kid getting that baggage, he wasn't really popping for that shit either.
And then how do you explain
about that bag?
Even if you know why he probably in the moment was still scared and pissed off about everything that would happen before.
Yeah, I guess.
And even if the issue is that, let's say there was no kid, he got the ball, right? And she made this whole big scene. She remained being an asshole after that.
Oh, well, she was taking all challengers at that point.
Yeah, she went full heel after that. She was ready for any smoke accessible in the area. That's it. Anybody who was willing to do it could have got it. She was down for it. And, mind you, she was being pissy. She was flipping off people. She was leaving her seat to go curse other people out in other seats while holding the ball. Damn. She won the argument. He gave her the ball, and she still remained a twat. So I don't know if I'm putting all the blame on this gentleman. You know, I don't know. I don't think so, because I think the evilness was there from the beginning. I don't think this was a situation. I have a feeling she was being a bitch long before that ball hit the section. I don't know. Something about that whole setup was a little off-putting. But anyway, yeah, the Karen of baseball going absolutely nuts. It's making all kinds of news. The Phillies and the Marlins. That's the kind of shit I expect to see at Citi Field. You know, I know Philly doesn't have the reputation of being the softest people, but still, you know, that was a lot. And then I heard that she's not even from Philly. She's from New Jersey. It's like,
those are the worst Philly fans.
The New Jersey.
Oh, my God, dude. Oh, dude, I remember. Oh, you just brought back a core memory, dude. I remember being a little kid and fucking, what was it? Wasn't middle school. Was it middle school? I don't know. It was like 6th grade or something like that. And I had just gone to New Jersey. I'm in the school, and I see the teacher. Everyone's wearing Philadelphia Flyers jerseys. And there's a teacher just sitting there, and I don't fucking know. I'm a sports person, so I just assume, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you vote for your person you're from. Like, that's what you would predominantly see. So I see everyone wears Philly. So I told the teacher, I said, hey, can I ask you a question? She's like, what? And I'm like, why are you a Philadelphia Flyers fan? And she goes, well, what do you mean? Why are we a Philadelphia? Why wouldn't we be? I said, because you live in New Jersey. She goes, so? I'm like, you have a hockey team. Like, why are you a Philadelphia Flyers fan? Because we're so close to Philly. I was like, yeah, but you know what you're closer to? The Devils?
Actually, they're not. The New Jersey Devils are basically here. They're in North Jersey. It's
So
right over
what?
the bridge.
Doesn't matter. It's Jersey.
It's the
dude.
New Jersey Devils.
No, I guess you can make the argument, right? And that was my young kid brain, but I guess you can make the argument too. With like
Geographically,
PA,
it does,
because
yeah.
Just because you live in, but that's the thing, right? Because PA is sectioned off into two with the Pittsburgh Steelers for football and like the Philadelphia Eagles. So like, sure, there's really no New Jersey, you can make an argument for the Jets, but like that's still to me kind of a New York team. But like, so you can make that argument. That makes sense to me. But if you have a team in New Jersey, I don't know. That was my thought. But those, to me, Jersey fans that support Philadelphia teams are the fucking worst. I'll usually ask them, are you from Philly? Like, no, born and raised in fucking Cherry Hill. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's fucking weird. You're not from Philly. Why do you like Philly? So no, you don't have to be somewhere to like from something. But I always thought that was funny.
I think the rumor was that the lady was from Pensahawken.
Oh my god, that's crazy. That's funny. Nah, but she's wild for that. So hopefully she just lay low for a little bit. Don't let them see her walking into a place of business.
Let's let that hair grow in a little bit or something. I don't know. Let's change that hair color up a little bit. Just so that you can at least go shopping or something without getting recognized.
Just dye the bottom half of the hair. That's all.
Complete the coloring finally.
Yeah.
Well, let's get that set in, miss, before we start walking around. Oh, man. All right, we are off to our next topic.
Next up, segment 2.
I got a grievance.
I'm confused here.
Okay.
Because although I do agree with you,
Uh-huh.
for some reason I always want to call him Paul Rosenberg.
I can see
Who
it.
the hell? Who's Paul Rosenberg? Is that a person?
I'm
I feel
sure
like it is.
I'm sure there's a Paul Rosenberg out there somewhere, yes.
But anyway, Peter Rosenberg. When you wrote this, I'm like, yeah, I 100% agree with this. I was like, let me see how we're going to shit on him today. I'm all for this. Hell yeah, dude.
Uh-huh.
And then I watched the clips and I'm like, I'm confused.
Okay.
He sounds like he's on your side. So please enlighten us on what he's saying here. That's so bad because I feel like and trust me, we have a bunch of stuff we can shit on him about.
Uh-huh.
I'm confused.
And
here,
we
'cause
will.
This sounds like your sentiment.
Okay. So you're talking about the actual content of what he had to say about Goldberg.
Or Ronda Rousey.
And Ronda Rousey, and for that matter, although very quickly, it still threw a little shade over at Matt Riddle as well. So
he did, yes.
So the reason
2 for
why...
1.
Okay, so let me preface this with the audience by saying this was the straw that broke the camel's back, but he's been pissing me off for fucking well over a decade.
I'm with you.
Right.
I hate seeing him on the TV
Yes,
screen.
so allow me to, for those of you who have lives and you don't live in the Northeast, we have this individual by the name of Peter Rosenberg, who is a white man living in the suburbs, chilling out his whole, that's where he grew up, lived his whole life. For whatever reason, I don't know and I don't care, he became a hip-hop head out of nowhere. That's fine. You can like whatever music that you want to like. You can do whatever you want. It's a free country. Like whatever you want. The problem that I used to have with Peter Rosenberg is I grew up listening to a lot of hip-hop stuff. I was probably more into hip-hop when I was a kid than I am even now. But back then, I was really, really into it. So a station like Hot 97 was always in my ear in some way or another. It was either ESPN on 1050 AM, where I was listening to the ESPN broadcasts, or I was listening to Hot 97 or 103 KTU up here in New York, which is a pop station more or less, and then Rock 100 for the rock music, alternative. Those were the options. So when I would listen to Hot 97, I would listen to Funkmaster Flex. I would listen to Ed Lover. I was listening to these OGs, LL Cool J. I mean, you go down the line, right? 80s, 90s type music, especially in the 90s when everything on Hot 97 was, Hot 97, right? That was the later years of Hot 97 was like some of the most classic times if you're a hip-hop head to be listening to music. I mean, you're talking about Jay-Z, DMX, all just the highest of the highs of the hip hop game. I don't think we've.
I'd say the attitude era of rap.
Yeah, it was a jam packed era. The late '90s, even into the early 2000s. To be honest with you, Hot 97 was still like popping. It was still there, despite the fact that Funk Master Flex would take 7-8 minutes to play a 3-minute song. That's neither here nor there, right? It's only one of so many times you can hear a horn while restarting the song before you want to chuck your radio off of a fucking roof. But other than that, it was a predominantly hip-hop station. You got your black folks, and the black folks give certain passes to the Hispanic folks. You had your Hispanics that were in there. There wasn't a lot of Asian. The whites that were there just to sign the checks. They didn't fucking do any of the hip-hop. Corporate side of things, right? Which is where you would assume a gentleman by the name of Peter Rosenberg would be. He'd be on the check signing side, not the hip hop side of it. You know, his role is to exploit it, not to be a part of the movement that goes against his genetic upbringing.
Why not both of them?
So the reason why I've been annoyed with Peter Rosenberg since the very, very fucking beginning, because he rubs me as one of those people that he knows how to read a room. That's his skill. He'll say one thing to you, and the minute someone else rebuttals it, okay, all right, I see that. I see it. It's to everybody. He agrees with everybody. Everybody's right, and then when the room is like heavy on the intensity, then everybody's wrong. You know, just whatever the vibe is what he's going with. So somewhere along the line, there's this thought process like he's some sort of knowledgeable guru, like top hip hop brain in the city, and he got his own show. He's interviewing rappers. He's doing the whole shit. He's being a part of the culture whilst being pretty much the antithesis of what the culture is even standing for. You could make the argument about the racism involved with it. There's discussions about that all the time. But as a kid in the late 90s and the early 2000s and the mid 2000s especially, because that's where I really started hearing Peter's name the most, you start to feel uncomfortable. You know, there's not a lot of, when you're in that culture heavy and non-black, non-Hispanic people start jumping in on that wave, you're a little skeptical. So, like, I was too young to really understand it at the time, but I knew something about him just bothered me. He talked with so much confidence. He's talking like definitively, like, oh, this guy's not an all-time great. This guy's not top 5 rapper of all time. And I'm like, yo, who is this dude? Who's Rosenberg to sit here and tell me, oh, Lil Wayne owned 06, but then like, I'm like, yo, who the fuck? Like, he just rubbed me. It's whatever. He didn't do anything terrible, but I wasn't comfortable with him, right? What put him on my radar heavy is what's the other station I said I used to listen to? ESPN on 1050 AM. So all of a sudden now, Peter Rosenberg from Hot 97, from the hip-hop station, joins Michael Kay and Don LaGreca on the Yankees 3 o'clock drive radio show to talk sports, to talk Yankees, Giants, Jets, all that shit. I said, hold the phone. So you stretched my limits of believability by trying to convince me that this guy knew hip-hop. He knew it, right? He just knows hip-hop. This guy gets it. He's so smart. He's teaching black folks about hip-hop. He's amazing. He's a savant, right? Okay, fine. I don't really buy it, but fuck it. Do your thing. He crossed the line when he wandered into my sports. Because I know you don't know shit about sports. You cannot convince me you know jack shit about sports. And what kills me is it wasn't like Peter Rosenberg had his own show where he was talking about sports. It wasn't like Peter Rosenberg joined a show where there's some young up-and-comers and they're just trying to give a different spin to sports, pull in that younger audience. No, they put him on there with Michael Kay, who has been the voice of the Yankees for the last 35 to 40 years, and then Don LaGreca, who at the time was the voice of New Jersey Devils hockey and one of the longest tenured sports analysis on ESPN on the radio show for decades. These are two successful old white men who just know sports better than they probably know their own fucking kids.
Yeah, more than likely.
And then here's Peter Rosenberg.
Yeah.
Throwing the whole fucking dynamic off. And if you were a listener at that time, you could hear the dissatisfaction of having this fucking guy on the show. Not happy about this guy being on the show. And they would butt heads. There would be issues because he's a two-faced fuck. And Don, more importantly, would call him on his shit every chance he fucking got. He played him on radio. And then they went to Yes Network, so now we get to see the embarrassment. We get to see them in person, right? So I was like, man, he fucked with my hip-hop, and I gave him a pass. He tried to fuck with my sports, and I wouldn't have it. I started listening less and less to a point where I just stopped listening altogether because I couldn't fucking do it. And now Peter Rosenberg was finally out of my life.
Also, you thought.
And then he didn't cross the line. He went too far. And he started doing WWE events. This fucker is a former WWE 24/7 champion. Okay? He started doing pay-per-views for the WWE. And when I say that I was belligerent for no reason, just fucking angry at the sight of him. Because now I know you're divulging into a world you know nothing about. Nothing. 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 He has no idea what it is he's talking about. He's a fan, according to him, because I've never really, all the years at 97, all the years of the Yankees Network, he might have made a reference or two. I've never heard anything about fandom. But you become a fan of something real quick when they offer you money. You become a fan real quick. So he's done the pre-show. Like I said, they gave him a little moment where he won a title for like an hour or two, and then he had to drop it to somebody else or whatever. And he's been on the show. He gets to meet wrestlers. He gets to interview wrestlers. He gets to be around the wrestling business. But just like nobody in the late 90s, early 2000s, and the mid 2000s who wanted to know about hip-hop said, let me talk to Peter Rosenberg. Nobody in the same time period, maybe even later, who wanted to know more about the Yankees or baseball or sports said, you know what, let me talk to Peter Rosenberg. I know for a fact there's nobody in the wrestling world going, man, there's a lot of wrestling shit going on right now. The drama's real. Let me hear from Peter Rosenberg. It's never fucking happened in the history of humanity. Ever.
Fucking might.
Now, to take it to his comments. So he had some very choice words about Goldberg's reaction to his retirement situation. Okay? He's shot off. I love the beginning of that video, by the way. It was like, oh, let me do this real quick before my wife finds out that I did this on vacation. Shut up, pussy. Just say what you got to say. That was the most emasculating thing I've ever seen in my life, and he did it with a smile on his face. But continue to talk about how the grown men, the adults in the room, were unhappy about business decisions that didn't involve you. So he proceeds to talk about how Goldberg should feel honored and privileged that he was given this opportunity, that he was given all this money and all of this TV time to do a retirement match, and he was given a 15-minute match, and he was given this wonderful opportunity. He should be ecstatic. He should be happy. He should be grateful for what he got. All this and all that, and then he buried himself when he was like, as a fellow Jewish man. So then why are you killing him?
He's relating to him. He's letting you know he's validated.
Yeah.
in
I am
his
also
comment.
a Jew, so I'm safe in insulting this man to his face because I can
My
do that.
best friend's a Jew,
Yeah.
so I can say this.
Yeah, right, exactly. Here's the deal. Goldberg was right to be fucking mad because he was promised one thing, whatever it was, because the specifics is still fuzzy, and something else happened. Because remember what we talked about when we talked about the Seth Rollins injury. That was kayfabe to everybody, including the boys. So whatever that plan was for Goldberg's final match, it included some people that were no longer involved. Everything shifted around the day of, including his retirement speech, which got cut off. Now, Peter says in his video, how dare you be upset? It wasn't like WWE chose to cut you off. We go off the air when NBC goes off the air. Absolutely correct. So why didn't you allot the time for that? You gave Seth Rollins selling his injury that we now know was a bullshit injury more time than you gave the speech. Which, in hindsight, I get it because we now know where they were headed with that. But in the moment, yeah, he's not happy. And for the record, and I think this is why I'm the most angry about the whole situation, is it's Goldberg. Goldberg took the bumps. He bled the blood. He teared the tears. He spilled the sweat on that mat. You could debate his wrestling ability and his wrestling skills. Lord knows we've killed him on this show. We chose Trish over him. We haven't.
You don't we that?
Yeah.
No. You're gonna get me killed for this one in the other room. She is a Goldberg stand. I said nothing.
You could have your argument about whether he was a good wrestler or a bad wrestler. That's subjective. You can have that conversation. But to sit here and say that a man that's paid those kinds of dues, that he should just be grateful with whatever he has, that is not his place to say. He is nobody in this industry. He's nobody. I have not earned the right to criticize Bill Goldberg the way that I do. But what allows me in my mind to do that is that although he did it at a high level, I've paid quite a few dues myself. He's paid none. None.
Well, he was a champion.
Yeah, I know.
So he paid some.
Even then he paid none. Watch that clip back again.
I'm good.
But yeah, exactly. So was everybody else who watched it live. But he overstepped. And even still then, when he said that one, because that was a while ago, I didn't say anything. I was irritated by it. I moved on. Now, the thing about Ronda Rousey, he, in my opinion, is burning two bridges with this one, both of which he really should not be involved, but people keep fucking involving him. Ronda Rousey has gone on a press tour destroying wrestling. She was shitting on Bliss. She's shitting on this. She's shitting on that. She's shitting on the company. She said they're trying to erase her contributions to the women's division. There wouldn't have been a WrestleMania main event without me.
Why she went so hard?
Because for whatever reason, I feel this is just an opinion that she was very high on WWE for a while. And I'm sure they got into her ear and they told her all these great things that they're going to do and how they're going to present her. And they made her feel like such a big star in her head. And then when she signed and she became a part of the machine, things started going differently. And because of that, she's always kind of held a sour taste in her mouth. The last year she was with the company.
They didn't unzip their pants, did they?
No, well, I don't know. We'll find out when Janelle Grant's people put it through.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll find out more at a later date. But yeah, but Ronda has always fancied herself a star, and
rightfully so.
Right? Dana White made a ton of fucking money on Ronda Rousey, and Ronda Rousey made a ton of fucking money on the UFC. And that's the part where Peter jumps in. Because, again, Peter is jumping to the defense of the wrestling business in this argument with Ronda. right? How dare you? You know, they gave you an opportunity to reach out your brain. All this phenomenal stuff. And he threw a little bit of shade at Matt Riddle, but that seemed more personal than it was a business thing. I just don't think he liked Matt Riddle, which is fine. There's a laundry list of people that don't like Matt fucking Riddle. So we're not throwing any shade on Peter for that. I mean, he just joins a long list of people who are just don't give a fuck about Matt Riddle at this goddamn point. But the reason why this was, to me, the one that finally broke it is because now I'm seeing the start of a pattern. If he would have just done the Goldberg thing, like I said, I didn't like it, but I moved on. It is what it is. Everyone's free to an opinion. So it's a stupid-ass opinion, but it's an opinion. Okay, fine. Right? That one I could have an argument with. You can go either way with that one. The Ronda Rousey thing, on paper, just straight up, just looking at his comments as it is, I don't have much of a disagreement with what he's saying. The problem is I'm just trying to be consistent. It's not his place to say it. He's not in the wrestling business. It's an opinion that he's sharing. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But he's been rubbing me the wrong way for so fucking long that I don't even want him defending my business. Don't say anything about it. Cause you don't have a fucking. You're in the. To give you an idea,
you can't even get your goddamn words
to give you an idea, me, Steph, and Lily, our sister, we went to SummerSlam night 1. We went to MetLife. Okay, when you walk into the building, this is a trend now that they're doing. The not free for all. They don't call it that anymore. The pre-show, whatever the pre-show is, where they have the panel. Mm-hmm. The panel used to be like in the building where the seats were. They don't have that there anymore. Now they have it like right when you first walk in to the outside area when you first get your tickets, where you could buy merch and stuff. They set the guys up there. So they had the whole panel or whatever. You could see them as you walk in. And we're on the second tier. We're somewhere in the middle. So we take the escalator up. Lily's got to go to the bathroom. Steph wants to get a premium sausage or whatever. I'm taking fucking pictures. Who do I bump into?
Oh, shit.
Right next to my fucking section, it's Peter Rosenberg.
He didn't want to ask you a question?
He was trying to get a group of people together to ask questions to. Basic questions. You know, when they do the panel and they kick it to Peter, and Peter goes, hey, man, in the main event tonight, it's such and such. Who do you guys want to win? Or something like that, right? When they get like the fan, whatever. So I just happened to be by the wall where he's going to congregate these people to ask them who they think is going to win. And he's not alone. It's a camera guy, and there's 2 people with headsets that start corralling people to surround him, right? So they're like, they want to make it look like a big pile of people. So they try to grab as many people as hey, you want to get in the shot? You want to da-da-da-da-da-da. And they asked me, and they said, hey, do you want to be in the shot? Do you want to join the thing or whatever? I said, well, what is that for? He goes, well, Peter, and that's how I found out they're going to ask you. He's going to talk about a match. He's say, who do you want to win or whatever? You just give an answer, and then we pan off, we pan forward. I said, who's asking the question? Just to be sure. He goes, Peter's going to ask the question. I said, fuck out of here, and I walked off. And I walked off. And I wanted to make sure he heard it. Fuck out of here, and I walked off. This is the second time this has happened to me. The first time you were actually there, but I think you weren't there. You missed it. We did me and you, remember that time we did a TNA show at like the Hammerstein Ballroom or something? Mm-hmm. And we were sitting on like the stage, remember? Like we were sitting near the entranceway where they were coming out.
I think my friend came with us that time, right?
I believe so.
Or was it just me and you?
No.
Joe was there.
Joe. No. It wasn't Joe. That was the night we took a picture with Jeff and Rob, remember? So it was.
Oh yeah.
It was one of my friends. It was Troy, I think.
Right.
Yeah. So we're sitting on the stage, and I distinctly remember before that show, leading up to it, I was talking to Steph about something, and we got into an argument over the booking, whatever, and I was shitting on Vince Russo. And she goes, well, why do you hate Vince Russo so much? And I just explained all the stuff that he did, and she still didn't get it, but it was whatever. And we get to the show. We're seated on the stage. So there was regular seating. It's actually tiered, and then they had like a VIP thing that we were a part of. That's how we got the photos with Jeff and Rob. So we were on the stage, not by the ramp, somewhere in the middle, but that's cool. We were coming back from intermission. I don't know if you guys were at bathroom or snacks. I don't know. I just happened to be standing with Steph next to where we were sitting, and it's by a curtain. And I'm looking at the ring. I'm listening to the music. Steph's talking to me. I'm talking to Steph. And all of a sudden, Steph just stops talking, and she's looking in my direction, but she's not looking at me. And she goes, like, trying to give me the Iggy. Look. Like, she's not saying look, but she's, like, eyeballing me. I turn to my right, and standing right next to me, shoulder to shoulder, is Vince fucking Russo. And she looked at me like, now what? I said, I'm not trying to get kicked out of this event. So what I did was I walked around Steph, and I pushed Steph toward Vince and put her in between me and Vince. That was as passive-aggressive as I could get. I don't even think he noticed. He was just looking at something else, and then he went down the steps or whatever. But that shit has happened to me twice, where I've talked shit about somebody, and then they just, poof, they were just there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, karma's coming, buddy guy. I'm waiting for that shit to happen when I'm in a position to say something. I want to fucking say something at some point. Fucking crazy. I'm not trying to get kicked. I wasn't trying to get kicked out of SummerSlam before the show even started. Or, like, after the show. Like, even, I want a 1, 2, 3 for the main event. 1, 2, 3, and then the crowd pops, and then I can turn, fuck you, Peter Rosenberg, and just fucking let it rip, and just fucking let it go. So I was just like, yeah, so that's what's happening. Peter Rosenberg has driven me up a fucking wall for a long fucking time, and he's crossing the goddamn line. You said you had issues with him, though. What were your issues with Peter?
I hate the way he talks.
Oh, just the way, it's the way he talks?
I hate the way he fucking talks.
Oh, man.
And I hate those little fucking weird-ass facial expressions he makes.
Oh.
I know it's probably unintentional,
Yeah.
but it just annoys the fuck out of me, and I don't like the way he talks. And no, if I'm being completely honest and not just being a complete asshole for no reason, I don't think he fits. To me, he just doesn't fit. So when he's on the panel and he's talking to everybody, I feel like he just doesn't have any real takes.
No.
I don't know what he did. Doesn't really have any good points or anything like that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm happy to be here. This is awesome and having so much fun, which is fine. Good for him. Like, get your bag and you get to do it doing something fun. I'm not a hater in that aspect. I just don't like seeing him on TV. I don't like hearing what he has to say. I've never been a big fan of him on Hot 97. I'm just not a big Peter Rosenberg guy. And the fact that he's here is fucking annoying. So it is what it is. I try not to think about it. He's not on screen too much, and thankfully I missed whatever title run you were talking about, so we're good.
Oh, it was only for like a day. Don't worry about it.
Doesn't matter. That's a day longer than
he was on the panel with the belt. Ridiculous.
Oh, fucking gross.
Ridiculous. Spent all those years in hip-hop, can't spit a single bar. Spent all those years in sports, not an athletic bone in his body. Now he's doing wrestling and doesn't know shit about it. This guy is just living the life.
The thing is, I feel like if he was better on the microphone, I don't think I'd have a problem, but I'm actually really shocked at how unclear he speaks considering what he does for a living. So,
yeah.
Whatever. It is what it is. I don't want to spend any more of my time talking about this fucking guy.
Fuck it. We're on to the next one then. How about that? We'll just switch it up.
It's time for segment 3.
I absolutely love that we're doing this again. I absolutely love that we're doing this again. So I haven't had a chance to play this. I used to have a graphic and everything for this. I used to have whatchamacallit. I used to have how do you say it? Like a drop. It was like a little thing for it. And I'm so proud to hear it again. So here it is. This next segment is called What the Fuck segment.
Oh man, that's deep.
What in the fuck is he doing?
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
It's what the fuck is going on here on this day. Class.
What the fuck is going in here on this day?
On this day. That's what's going on this day. I found this as a You know, you find the most beautiful things when it comes to related videos. You know, you click on something either on Facebook. Yeah, it's a rabbit hole thing. You click on something on Facebook or Instagram or even YouTube or whatever, and it opens up and it's a video, and you just keep going up and up and up and up, and the weirdest shit happens. And I eventually came across something that was so ridiculous, yet so awesome, that I absolutely had to pull this shit and talk about it, because not only was it ridiculous, but it was world-setting. We are going to talk about a record that I didn't know existed, and now it has my full fucking attention. This needs to be a sport. If you remember dodgeball when they had the Ocho, this would be on the Ocho set. This is one of those things. So there is a mom. We should preface this by saying, yes, she's a mother. And she's from New Zealand, which is like the most toughest country on planet Earth. When Australia and New Zealand, because everything on those islands are trying to kill them, and they live there every day. They battle the elements, all right? So there's a New Zealand mom, and her name is Gabrielle Wall. Thank God she had a regular name for me to pronounce. But she broke a world record, which I have to question, because they say that she broke the world record, which means she didn't set the world record. Somebody else did this, and then she beat them.
This world record sounds like something, you know, when you're like in the basement smoking weed with your friend and you're like, dude, we should create a world record.
Yes.
Like that's what this shit sounds like. Someone fucking laid out some Legos and had a dude watch them and just fucking went for it.
So there's a video online. You can very easily find it on YouTube. There is an actual New York Post article on it. It says this was hold on. The overall name of the article: Mom goes viral for earning world record running across a track of Legos barefoot. It was written by Angela Barbuti. That should help you out with the search. It says this was no child's play. Love the beginning of that article. You see that hook? You see that hook?
Bro, if he didn't write that shit on a piece of paper and then sit back and look at it, dude, he didn't really take that one in.
Oh, well, I don't want to assume her gender or his gender, but Angela said this was no child's play. A New Zealand mom broke a world record for running across a track made of Legos, and she accomplished the impressive feat with bare feet. Get it? You saw that wordplay right there? Gabrielle earned the Guinness World Record for fastest 100-meter barefoot on Lego bricks back in January. But she went viral this week, racking up 9.3 million views after Guinness World Records posted the effort on Instagram. So she did it on her own, and it didn't get really much traffic, and then Guinness posted it, and people went banana. Many playfully commented on the post, no secret coaching, just years of midnight bathroom trips dodging Lego landmines left by her kids. Oh, shit. Just needs 2 or 3 kids with tons of Legos at home. Others wrap their heads around the unusual exercise by saying, why would someone even start to learn how to do this? Oh, shit. Proof moms will do anything for a day off is one of the goddamn comments. Wall, a mother of 2, ran the 100 meters in 24.75 seconds and explained it was one of the items on the bucket list she wrote after she suffered a health scare in 2022. How? How you had a health scare? You almost died, and you lived, and you said, you know what? I'm not going to hold it off anymore. I'm running on some Legos. And I am proud to have pushed myself to new limits, she told Guinness World Records, calling it an unforgettable experience. The track Wall sprinted through was constructed from a staggering 661 pounds of Legos, which were donated by Imagination Station, a New Zealand charity that offers classes and centered around the popular toys which were invented by a carpenter in Denmark 1932. So that was one of the questions I was going to ask. Where the fuck do you find 100 meters worth of Legos? And apparently she didn't even buy them. They were donated.
Oh, wow.
She's a sponsored athlete over here.
They were actual children's Legos that was laid across the track.
Yes.
That would be freaking awesome.
They were laid out across the track. 100 meters of running. So when we were
Or like thumbtacks or something?
Yeah. But it was a play on another hardcore staple where, remember when we used to have the thumbtacks? See how your brain immediately went to thumbtacks? That's because you are an OG fan. Yeah. We've since replaced the thumbtacks. Now what people do in hardcore matches is they lay out Legos for everyone to take a bump on. And I immediately thought of that when I saw this, because I think this right here ends that spot forever. Because you're not going to tell me that shit hurts when you bump on it, when this woman literally is the fastest Lego runner of all time. She's out here barefooted, just eating it.
I don't know. I'm not gonna hold you. Like it was a good feat.
yeah. I see what you did there.
It was good. It was cool, but I was a little disappointed when I watched it, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like it took me I had to sit with it for a little bit.
You know why?
Because I read it and it said fastest, and I'm thinking I'm about to see someone sprint, like just full sprint. This was a light jog.
Yeah, but it was on Legos.
No, I don't want to downplay it. I get it. What she did was phenomenal. Please don't take this as me killing her like this shit was whack. This is what happened. At first, when I saw it, I'm like, I don't know if your brain did this, but mine did this. I was like, I could fucking do that. Not only could I do that, but I could do that way faster than that.
You can run barefoot on Legos for 100 meters.
I'm trying to tell you what my brain said, dude. I don't know how else to explain this to you. I originally saw it as like, she's not even running that fast, dude. I could do that shit so much faster. But then I sat with it a little bit longer and realized that shit probably hurt.
So
that shit probably hurt so bad while she was running. And it was like the first, you know what it was? Because as she was running, as she started, I'm like, oh, that shit's easy. Like, I could do that. And then she was still running. And I'm like, yeah, she could have did this faster. And then she was still running. And I'm like, holy fuck, that is a lot.
That's a lot of Legos.
That's where my brain went the whole way. By the end of it, I was like, yo, she got it. That shit was hard. Like, I don't got nothing. You got it.
You're confident about it until about 3 or 4 steps into that
Bro,
shit.
When that camera had a chance to change 4 or 5 times while she was still running, I'm like, nah, she got this. That's it. I'm good.
I just
pretend I could do that shit.
I just looked it up now. And when they say that she broke the record, I don't know if they're understanding how that connotation feels, but I'm looking it up now. There was no previous, so she did set it. It wasn't about breaking it. They're saying that there was no officially recognized record holder.
They misspoke. Man.
Yes. But she's the only one. But now here's the thing. Just like you said in your analogy about sitting in the basement smoking some weed and going, oh, man, let's set a record. That's what she did. She set a record here. So now the question becomes, who's got the guts?
Who's got the fucking testicles, dude?
Who's coming for it? Oh, man. Listen, this is a record that
we're here for it.
The test of time. Yeah. You know, another thing, too, before we get out of here with this thing, you were talking before about how long it felt like we were watching her run. Can I give it up real quick? Can I give it up real quick for that goddamn shit? You said it looked more like a light jog. Her upper body is moving like she's trying not to step on something. she's very apprehensive about the next step, but she just. So yeah, it looks like she's got a stride going. She knew. I don't know. Do you practice that? There's got to be some time spent.
I think you just go for it.
Just talk yourself into it. Mm-hmm. It's like the hot coal thing. You know, you just got to run. You just got to go for it. Go for the hot coals. So for everybody,
yeah, that's the same thing. I don't know. I think the Coles might be worse, though.
The Coles, I mean, yeah, I think the Coles are a little worse. They might do a little damage to your skin.
Hold on. Let's not disrespect Legos. Because with the
This disrespect Legos.
With the Coles, if you go fast enough, you can negate some of that heat.
Oh, you're trying to include some science into this.
You can't lightly step on a fucking leg.
It's just jagged. That's it. It's just where it is. Oh, man. And you know what? This was the first segment that we're bringing back. I can't wait for this next one. All right, we're going to get into this next one now because this might take us in a different direction altogether. Let's see what happens.
Segment 4 is finally here.
Segment 4 is here, and it is time for us to bring back yet another segment of What If. Now, before I set this up, did you get a chance to see the videos I sent you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let me set the stage. Okay. So we do a segment called What If, where we take a situation that happened and just try to see how it would have happened if it didn't happen the way that it did. I know that's a mouthful. But right now, as we speak, Vince McMahon is in the middle of a lawsuit situation with one Miss Janelle Grant. We've talked about it here on the show a few times. It's a slow news situation because it's a court case, right? These things get scheduled whenever the fuck they get scheduled. So we don't know when the next step is going to happen or whatever the case may be. But this case was the essential end almost. There were other women, there were other situations, but this predominant case here pretty much spelled the end of Vince McMahon's career. He went into quote-unquote retirement, sold his stocks. That's what gave them the opportunity to sell WWE. It's now owned by TKO, Endeavor, whatever you want to call them. This case pretty much ended what we know as the career of Vince McMahon. But it's not Vince's first rodeo as it relates to legal cases and women. Way back yonder in the yarns, the time spread all the way back to the late 80s, early 90s. Vince McMahon was caught up in another situation involving a woman. This one was a former employee as well. Although he met her, the relationship started as an employee-employer situation as opposed to Janelle Grant. But this was a situation where Miss Rita Chatterton, who was a referee at the time with WWE, made the claim in 1992. This is important information here. She made the claim in 1992 that she had been raped by Vince McMahon back in 1986. So there was about a 6-year gap between when she claims the incident took place and when she actually made the claim in the accusation. So 6-year difference. When she finally came forward in 1992, she was asked, why did you wait this long? What took, what held you back from saying something even back then? Oh, he's a rich and powerful man. I didn't think anyone believed me. The usual script of how women are treated, not only in business in general, but when it comes to cases like this, especially when it comes to wealthy, older white men, it's a long shot.
Yeah, but did you hear his response when she said that?
Go ahead, say what his response was when she said
the way that it wasn't necessarily. I'm not even about his word, but did you hear his tone and shit when he said it? He was accusing her of pretty much yo, why didn't you say anything though?
Well, yeah.
Why?
If it's so real, yeah.
But he said, but he did it in not in a in a reporter way where you're really just trying to get the facts. He did it in a very accusatory. And to be fair,
Geraldo, dude, of course he was looking for the
Geraldo. That was the name. I know he looked familiar, but my point is yes, and I agree with you. Correct, that is TV, and sure, he's going to be a little more tantalizing and shit like that. However, you grew up in that age, and you know that that's the tone of everyone around that time.
Yes.
Not even in the wrestling business, just in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, so definitely, listen, we've heard a million stories like that outside of the wrestling business, within the wrestling business, where, look at the Bill Cosby situation. I talked about that very, very early on in the show, about the same deal, where it was all these women, And the same conversation. Well, why'd they wait 10, 15, 20, 30 years for some of them to come out and say something? And it's the same general response as far as people in power. We're now in a day and age where the people in power are going to jail left and right for this shit now. So it's a little bit easier of a situation. But that's why this particular case is so interesting with Janelle Grant, because so many people came after Vince and never got the job done. Janelle is sitting in a very different situation. There's a good chance she's got the guy by the short and curlies here. But in our what-if scenario, we're going to go back real quick to not 1992 when she made the accusation. We're going to go back to 1986, when the year that she claims that the whole situation happened. Now, people are going to say, well, did they ever go to court? Because Janelle's going to court. This is going to be litigated by a judge. So they say, well, did Rita go to court? The answer to that is no. There was a preliminary discussion. Things got held up for whatever reason. There were people who pulled back. There was a long, drawn-out process. As a matter of fact, the case itself didn't get resolved until 2023 with an $11 million cash settlement. So this was years and years and years. But also during that time, remember 2023 is when all this shit was hitting the fan with Vince. All of his dirty laundry and skeletons were coming out of the closet. He was handing out money left and right to shut people the fuck up. So Rita came out with her hands at the trough. So I'm not going to hate on her for taking the money, especially after all this time had passed. But let's take it back to 1986. Let's say, what if?
I think the smartest thing she did was take the money.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he was beating the allegations.
In 1986,
he was beating the
allegations. But that's the point. That's the beautiful part about this segment. What if? What if they do go to court? What if she is able to supply sufficient evidence? And what if Vince McMahon does get convicted of rape in 1986?
He doesn't.
Realistically, I know
so
that he doesn't.
That's not what you're saying. What if it actually went?
Let's
there?
say
not
that.
Do you think it would
yes,
go there?
I'm not saying yes.
Okay,
I'm saying yeah. I'm saying what if? What does the landscape really look like if they do go to court? Vince McMahon does get convicted, and now there's no Vince McMahon running the WWE or even in the wrestling business in the late 80s.
He still does. He still runs it and behind the scenes. So even if he does get okay, so in that time, let's say, like you said, if he gets convicted, he goes to jail, right? He's still pulling the strings from jail. Today, obviously, it doesn't happen. They wouldn't have allowed that. You have another company that acquired it. They're not going to allow it to happen. And that time, no one's acquiring that shit. And he had the foundations of people that he can remotely control that company. No fucking problem. I don't think he'd have a problem running that company from jail at all.
Yo, you don't think he would have been cut out from the whole situation altogether?
Nope.
But
nope.
you know,
He'd have people contacting him. He'd have board meetings from jail.
But that's an interesting point, because a lot of what Vince did back in the day, the relationship with MTV, the sponsorship deals, all that stuff is business related. You really think those same people would have still done business with him from jail?
Yep, because
from a rape conviction?
He's the one. Stop. Bring the affliction down. You know exactly that they would be doing that. In this era, I'm trying to think in this era, and this time we even just said, the atmosphere behind it. Like they would I wouldn't even be surprised if, like, let's say that happened 20, 30 years from now, we'd be getting phone records of people like, oh, they got you, huh? Oh, yeah, she fucking got me. That's all right. I'll be out of here soon. Hey, so what's going on with this storyline? Like, it'd be one of those fucking things. It'd be like a biography of fucking what happened behind bars, Vince behind bars. And they'll just have, like, all the phone calls and shit of him, like, bullshit with his friends. Like, oh, they're not going to get me. They caught you, asshole.
They caught you, asshole.
I'm still fucking this one. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I could definitely see that happen. And everyone yucking and laughing and fucking saying cheers with wine glasses over the phone and shit like that. Definitely, dude. 100%.
Well, I just looked something up because I was curious, and it looks like I may have found something that supports your case. Because in 1992, she says that the rape took place in 86, but she made the accusation in 92. 92 was actually a very important year for our conversation because there was a very important figure arrested and sent to prison in 1992. His name was Mike Tyson. You remember what he was convicted of?
I believe it was rape, was it not?
It was indeed rape. He was convicted of raping 18-year-old Desiree Washington, an old Miss Black America contestant, in a hotel room in 1991. He served 6 years in prison, but he was sentenced to 6 years in prison. He only served 3. It was 1 count of rape plus additional charges of criminal deviant conduct and criminal confinement. He served 3 years out of his 6-year prison sentence, and to your point, while in jail, he was all over the news. They did prison interviews. They went to the jail to put him on TV. They were trying to make, hey, are you staying in shape, Mike?
Losing out the protein.
Yeah.
On a single day.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of supports your case. They didn't really stop fucking with high-profile people just because they were in jail.
And I'll make the argument that Vince is way more big money than Mike Tyson was.
I think he was more business money for people, too. Like, Mike was a celebrity who drew money.
He was a celebrity, but
Vince was the man who drew.
Yes,
who was a businessman. Exactly.
So although he was a celebrity, Tyson didn't grease people's pockets like Vince does.
That's true. That is also true. So you don't think there's much of a change then? Because there's a piece of history that I do know for a fact, this has been confirmed, the steroids case that Vince McMahon was in. And we talked a little bit about it here when we were going over the McMahon documentary, and when they talked about the case that took place when he was going to jail, or not going to jail, when he was going to court to see if he was going to go to jail. That was in 1994. It was the case United States versus McMahon, and he ended up not going to jail for that. But during that time period, he was pretty nervous about how that case was going to go. And at first it was rumor, but years later it's been confirmed. While he was going through the case, he was still working for WWE and putting together the shows and everything like that. But what he did was he ended up promoting a gentleman by the name of Jerry Jarrett. That's Jeff Jarrett's father, and the eventual co-owner of the original TNA. He brought in Jerry Jarrett because Jerry Jarrett had experience in the territory. He had experience as a booker, as a promoter. And the idea was that if Vince was to go to jail for this case, that Jerry Jarrett was going to run the WWF in his absence. Now, like you said, he's going to get a chance to make phone calls. He's going to get a chance to communicate. He's still going to be doing his thing from behind the walls, but at least he had a figurehead in place just in case. Do you foresee a very similar situation to like that happening in 1986? Do you think because in the original story it didn't go to court, but if it had, if this would have been a situation where he doesn't know the outcome just yet, it's the bare bones beginning, but she's pushing the issue, we're going to court, should I have a backup plan?
He definitely has his ducks in a row.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I think his ducks are already in a row. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's already there. In the time frame of which you are speaking.
Yeah.
And we kind of already know his ducks were in a row with the information, some of the information that we have with this situation that's going on right here.
Yes.
He's had a string of people that are involved in this circus, in these shenanigans. All of those people would have flown under the radar. They would have done their due diligence and kept quiet as much as possible. And if they got Vince, it was fine. They had a business structure in mind right now.
Yeah.
Today, with this shit happening, a lot of those people were already out of the business.
Yep.
And if they weren't, they left shortly after Vince did. So there was no structure there. So yeah, I think not only would he have, I believe he already did. Yes. 100%.
Well, when the Janelle Grant before the Janelle Grant stuff went public, and before we all knew as outsiders about the women and the buyouts, and the bribes and what was it, 12 million, 20 million or something that he was just handing out from funds. We as observers all thought at the time how weird it was that all of a sudden he was stepping back. Triple H was now going to be in control of the creative. They were making moves. Stephanie all of a sudden was now going to be a member of the board. These were moves that were made before we found out about the shit hitting the fan. So internally, you're right. Like, internally, he's not afraid to put it, as you said it, put his ducks in a row, make sure everything is on the up and up. The only difference between 86, maybe even 94, if the steroid case goes another way, and even later in the years, when they had the issue with the WWF, with the Wildlife Fund or whatever, and they lost that. That was the one lawsuit that they did win. And excuse me, what did I just say? That was the one lawsuit. I did say it right? That they did not win. I said that right? They did not.
No. You said they did win.
Okay, so let me correct that.
Yes.
No, it was the lawsuit they did not win. That's why we ended up changing to WWE, because they lost that legal battle. Of all the legal battles he's had, for that to be the one time that he lost is fucking crazy.
I'm gonna hold you. There's a part of me that believed that was a throwaway.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He did it on purpose. Like, he kind of wanted to do it, and it would have been cheaper to do it if he got sued.
Oh, you think he could have won that then?
I feel like it was staged.
The whole thing?
Yeah, I think kind of won. I don't know. I forget what I heard that triggered that thought. I was watching something, and then they were like, the WWE, you're sued for this, and something. It was just one of them. You ever had those weird things where, like, something unrelated to what you're not unrelated, but like you get triggered, something triggers in you that you don't know why you did, but something's telling you, and that's what I got. And I'm like, I wonder if he kind of like, like the batter that leans into the pitch.
Yeah.
I wonder if he kind of like did that. I would have to look into what that situation was a little bit more. But when you say it, reminded me of the feeling when I heard that recently, and I'm like, dude, I feel like he wanted that L. He took it on purpose because he wanted to change it to entertainment and not federation.
Oh my god, I don't know.
Something to investigate for later.
Yeah.
But it was
Well, I don't. Can we really investigate it? That sounds like something that he would have just thought of in his head. I don't know if there's paperwork or to determine that he wanted to lose a lawsuit specifically for a rebrand, because it says here, I looked it up while you were talking, that the Worldwide Fund the Worldwide Fund for Nature, also known as WWF, had shared the acronym with McMahon's wrestling company since 1979. Remember, the company that Vince bought from his father was not WWF. It was WWWF. It was the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. He changed it later, and I guess when he did that, he ran into a copyright issue, but they came to an agreement in 1979. Then in 94, both parties reached an agreement limiting the wrestling company use of WWF, especially outside North America and in written form. However, McMahon's promotion allegedly violated that agreement, leading to a lawsuit filed by the conservation group, and in 2000, the court ruled in favor of the environmental WWF, forcing them to rebrand in WWE. So I guess that proves your point again. Because they said, yeah, you could use it, but within limits. And as soon as you tell Vince McMahon he has limits, that's the end of that.
I'm telling you, man, it's a weird. I'm not saying I'm right. Listen, all I'm saying is I just got this weird vibe that, like, he was like, it would be cheaper to lose this lawsuit than, I don't know. It's a stupid thought, but it's just a feeling I had. I just brought it up. Anyway, we move on.
Well, you said earlier that, yeah, if something would have happened in 86, he would have had his ducks in a row. And now I have to ask the question, who? Because in 1994, it was Jerry Jarrett, right? And back in those days, in 86, I don't know if it would have been his wife. I don't know. Like, I think, like, in 94, he had a guy, and now, in 2000, whatever, 20, whatever the fuck, he had a guy. Obviously, he had family. In 2000, he had backup. I don't know who that would have been in 86, but
I know for sure, and I don't mean oh my god, I'm gonna say it, but I in no means in any purpose is trying to put smut on his name.
Oh boy.
Because I don't see it as I don't see it as a defending him, although I can't even completely dismiss that. But I definitely see it as a defending the business, and I think someone who would absolutely be cooperating in communication, I would guess in the locker room would be Taker, dude. And even if some of the information was unbeknownst to him, which is why I want to be careful. I'm not trying to put smut on his name. He would definitely do. It'd be one of those things where like you gotta do what you gotta do for the best of the business, and it'd be one of those things where like he knows something's a little off, and they're getting calls to do things that he know Vince would do, but he's not there, so he kind of knows he's pulling straight. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of know what's going on, but you don't know, but you're trying to ignore it because you want to do what's best for business. So that's why I'm trying to put it this way. Not that he'd be like, oh, yeah, let's defend the rapist. It's more be like, or we got to protect the company and everything we work for as a wrestler. But I think he would be like I'm trying to shoot some bail here, not make him sound like a terrible person, but he'd be like involuntarily like forced to be one of those ducks. If that makes any sense.
But you're saying The Undertaker?
Yes.
Well, The Undertaker wasn't there in '86.
Oh, he wasn't there? Okay.
No, he got there in '90.
Okay,
and one of the when I posed that question about who do I think, like who
because I always think of him of like the ultimate Vince guy.
Yeah, he still is. He's hanging with Vince right now. Every photo or video I see is still the two of them hanging out. And he said on his own show, he said, "No, I get what's happening. I get the accusations. I get the situation that's going on, but I don't have the life I have without him. I just can't turn." He can't do it. He just can't turn his back on the guy. He can't do it. You know, and he's just, I can't.
I'm not completely wrong there. If Taker was there, then sure. But in that time frame, he wasn't, so I get it.
So I will pose this to the audience because I'm looking. I sent you a link. I put the roster together. Or not, I'd put the roster. Some website put the roster together of what that roster looked like in WWE in 1986. And yeah, there's wrestlers here, but there's also non-wrestlers on here. And I'm looking through. And it just dawned on me, and I'm just spitballing here. I could be wrong. I don't know enough about the behind-the-scenes working at that time. But I'm looking at this, and two things poke out. One of which is that one of the individuals that had a percentage of ownership in the company at the time, who was on this list, who, if you ask me, could have maintained the company at least long enough for Vince to come back and take the reins. There's Gorilla Monsoon's on here. And there's another guy here, Jim Barnett, who was a right-hand man of Vince McMahon at the time. I'm going to go ahead and lean in that direction. I think those guys would have probably had their hands. Again, they had their hands in ownership already as it was. It wasn't like they're being promoted to a position to take care of the company. They were already slightly financially involved in supporting the company. So that would have been a lateral move. But something else stuck out into my head. And I was Googling something while you were talking. And my timeline in my head, because, you know, I got the Rolodex going. I'm trying to put a timestamp on it, and my timestamp was correct. Because this rape case would have been in 1986. One of the most criticized aspects of professional wrestling is that of all the forms of entertainment, and sports for that matter, sports or entertainment, no matter way you look at it, pro wrestling doesn't have a union. It's one of the things that's always been criticized about pro wrestling, that it doesn't have a union. There's no sanctioning body that oversees it in that way. That's non-privatized. And the one individual who tried to get the ball rolling on that and almost succeeded was Jesse the Body Ventura. He was pushing for it. He had a lot of the boys behind him. And they were prepared to form a union to make sure that everybody was taken care of. They've got the insurance, all the shit that unions do. You know, you just got to pay your dues or whatever, and you're a part of the fucking union. Ventura is the one who told the story that Hulk Hogan was the guy that put the kibosh. He broke up the whole union plan because he was afraid that would ruin his position with the company. So he narked. He snitched to Vince. Vince got ahead of it, released Ventura, squashed all conversation concerning unions, and to this day, we've yet to have one. Ventura has told that story 1,000 times now. What eluded me was I was curious what year it was where that became public knowledge, because the only reason Hulk ever admitted to it was in the court of law. Something happened and Hogan was asked on the stand some question and related to the union, and he basically admitted to being the guy who snitched on the whole process. So that's when Ventura basically cut him out of his life. Hello?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought something fell. Okay,
No.
So I was wondering when did that happen? I just looked it up. 1986.
Well, damn.
So now I've got to ask the question: if Vince goes through the case and he's convicted, and yeah, we are both admitting he's not going to be out of the business completely. He'll have his hand in something. But let's say Gorilla Monsoon is running the company. Former wrestler. Former well-traveled wrestler. And might be susceptible to the idea of a union. Hogan going to him might have a different response than Hogan going to Vince did. Do you think there's a possibility on the table that we get a union out of this if Vince is out of the picture? Do you think that Jesse would have succeeded?
No.
Okay.
No.
Not enough people, you think?
Because my point still stands that Vince would still have pull, and someone, although he wouldn't be there to pull the string to make sure that it doesn't happen, there will be others there. There will be minions there to do the work. I don't know. I mean, that's probably your best bet.
Yeah.
In that scenario, but I think. No, I'm not saying that you underestimate. I'm saying that if you have that thought that this could have been the moment, I think you underestimate the amount of power he would still have, even if he wasn't physically in the building.
Okay, so if he was he still has his hands in things.
He's powerful, dude.
I get it, especially in the late '80s and early '90s. But he's in our what-if scenario, he's been convicted, he's in prison, he's doing his time, he still has his hands in things, as we both readily admit that will probably be the scenario. I don't foresee any scenario outside of death where he would completely remove his hands from WWE. And there might be a few changes here and there in the meantime or in the interim. I think we both agree nothing major would really happen. But here's the deal. It's possible to run the company from where he is. He's got nothing but time to figure out, to write things down, to put things to paper, to flush out ideas, what's next business-wise, what's next creatively, all that stuff. But do you think it's a possibility that company number 2, the rival, the National Wrestling Alliance, do you think it's possible they could have made a stronger run without Vince being in that office every single day?
That one I'll give to you.
Because mathematically speaking, I listen to the Cornette podcast a lot. I've listened to Arn Anderson's. I've listened to all the old school podcasts and all the old school NWA guys who've had this conversation. The NWA had a lot of great years, especially in the 80s. It's kind of a golden era. But based on what I have heard and the research that I have done and the studying and the living of this lifestyle, 86 was a strong fucking year for the NWA. Probably one of their best. You can argue 88, 89, 84 before leading it. Getting to 86 was also a very, very good year for them. Business was booming. Not a lot of hot shotting because everyone's just over. It's Flair. It's Dusty. It's Koloff, it's everybody, it's the Midnight Express, it's the Rock and Roll Express, it's the Fantastics, they're all burning on all cylinders. I got the roster here in front of me, boy. They are fucking loaded at the time with the 80s talent at the time. There's a lot of fucking talent on this fucking thing. And I'm telling you, they were already doing such great business without the WWE, because this is post-WrestleMania. So this is not territory WWF. This is nationwide WWF. They're traveling now, right? They're going major city to major city. 86 is WrestleMania 2. This is where they do the 3-location WrestleMania. They're spread out. They're doing New York, Chicago, LA. They're in Texas. They're in Florida. They're all over the map. NWA is still technically in the Mid-Atlantic territory, but now they're going to Philly and Chicago and Los Angeles, and they're also trying to compete. If Vince is not at the steering wheel as often as he was actually in 86 because he's in jail, I can make a strong argument that without Vince and his risk-taking and his willingness to kind of break traditions and step on toes, that ruthlessness about him, if it's any other person than Vince, they're not going to be as aggressive as Vince. And the Jim Crockett Promotions might be a little further ahead, I think, in the late 80s if Vince is not in the picture. Flair on top. He's got Steamboat. He's got Sting. He's got, oh my God. They're rolling it out. Dusty Rhodes, Barry Windham, Tully Blanchard. They're fucking, the Horsemen's on top. The world titles, the tag titles, television, everything's, they got fucking Georgia Television, 605, Saturdays, baby. They're rocking and they're rolling. The only competition that NWA had was WWF. Without Vince in that office every single day, I don't know. I think as hard as Vince would work to keep his company afloat, I think they lose speed.
Yeah, I agree with you. Outside of him, that would be the one thing that could have seen some changes. The only problem, and this is the only information that I have, so if you know more than me, then that's fine. But what I pretty much got from the documentary is that people didn't want to do what Vince did.
Yeah.
So if the other people aren't trying to do what Vince did, I think it's inevitable. At some point when Vince gets out, he's going to continue. At some point, even if he did a slow takeover, as he was in jail, I still think it's possible because I don't think the other people were being aggressive in the manner of he was being aggressive. So they would be more reactive than they were proactive. And the problem is they would probably be making some way, and it would. My point is they weren't being aggressive enough for Vince to have to react. So all he would have to do was he would have a buffer time to react to stuff because they weren't acting as quickly as they would have needed to keep up with Vince. So Vince didn't need to keep up with them. They were trying to keep up with him, which also led to him being able to conquer people so, I wouldn't say so easily, but it kind of feels like that's the way they said it, that pretty much everyone was innocent and he was just shooting shots at everybody and everyone was just taking hits. And that's why it was so easy to take their talent. And that's why it was so easy to do this, that, and the third. I don't think him being in jail makes the other federations more aggressive to do what he did. I don't think anyone was trying to do what Vince did. So I think because he didn't need to be as reactive, because other people, like for instance, today would be a little bit different because people saw what he did, they see what it can do, so people would try to position themselves the way that he did if he was gone. But in that time frame, I don't know if people are trying to do that. So because of that, there isn't any competition in his vision. So he can still do his vision, and they won't understand his mind. So they'll still try to, even if they try to keep up or counter him, there's still a buffer. With him not being there, he can still get the information and react, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. Maybe I think this is probably the thing that could happen the most, but I just don't think the people around him were that aggressive as he was in that time. And with him absent, I think they get comfortable in what they're doing.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Around 86, when Vince is doing the simulcast and he's doing all these things around the country, I think it would be hard to resist the temptation of picking up where he left off. Because it would just be, you just look at that and you see the markets. Jim Crockett Promotions was already spreading out. Like I said, they did the Chi-Town Rumble in 89. They were doing the Los Angeles deal. They were flying. They had what was it Jim said? They had the private jet. They were sending talent over across the country and doing this and doing that. But to your point, as far as they were doing that in terms of expanding their audience and trying to get some what they would consider kind of third-party money because it's outside of their usual territory in their area. So that's funding right there. Vince wanted, from the 80s, he wanted a global brand. from the very beginning. That was always the vision, which I don't think that's the vision that everybody else had, to your point. So, I don't know. A lot of things could have happened, but Rita's situation, and I know people listening to this to go, wow, in your situation, you're only worried about what WWE is going to do. What about Rita? If Rita, in our scenario, Rita takes him to court and wins big time. So she's already a winner. She's out of the equation. She won. Whatever it is that she won, and then the bad guy went to jail. We're talking about what's left over from the rest of the stuff, because for the other stuff, the people who are not involved in this court case, they got to live, which is the same story that we came up with when we were talking about Janelle Grant. You know, people was like, well, we shouldn't even mention Vince, or we shouldn't even mention Janelle Grant. Fine, but WWE isn't going to stop running just because Vince McMahon is in some shit. If anything, I guess an argument is being made that it's become more profitable since he left. Tell that to TKO, because I don't know if you saw, but earlier there's an article going around that TKO is admitting that they hear the concerns from the audience about ticket prices being so high, but we're trying to get out of debt real quick, so let's make this money back and then we'll lower everything. Smart business, but it is what it is, yeah. So a lot of different ways this could have gone. There's a lot of scenarios that could have played out. If you're listening to this and you got your own little scenario that you think would have played out with Vince McMahon, in our scenario, Vince McMahon's in jail. But what would have happened to WWE? What would have been the situation with that? So let us know. And right now it is time for our main event.
It is now time for our main event.
In our main event of the evening, it happened again, Dave. Satan's got to be getting pissed. He's got to be getting pissed. This is the second time a cold front has come through. Hell has frozen yet again. About 3 years ago, CM Punk came back, and the whole world was shocked to see it. Well, 3 years later, Mrs. Punk is here. And Mrs. Punk is back in a big, full fucking way. I have to start off by saying this. You saw a little bit of AJ Lee on the first run.
No, I didn't.
You have no memory of it.
I don't know shit about AJ Lee. The only thing I know about her is that she left in a weird way, and then she was never coming back. I didn't even know it. I did not know she looked damn near identical to the mother in How I Met Your Mother. I can't not see it.
Oh, yeah. Was that Christina Maloney?
She looks just like her, the body frame and everything. It's, swear to God, every time I see her, I'm like, oh, look, it's How I Met Your Mother. So, no, I know nothing about her at all, which was a shame because when I saw it, I knew it was coming. And when she came out, I felt like the place exploded. And I'm just like, man, I'm so out of touch with it. I don't know what, I have no emotion for this at all, which kind of sucks because I feel like this was a big moment. So I was waiting for you to tell me what this was supposed to be.
Well, you know her as the mother from How I Met Your Mother. To me, she will always be Sophia Falcone.
Okay, fair enough.
She was in Penguin, and she was awesome. She's not really in How I Met Your Mother. She was just the reveal at the end. We got like an episode or two out of her. But in the Penguin, she is masterful. So for those of you, like AJ said last night on Raw, for those of you who weren't around 10 years ago, we'll put it to you like this. Don't let the frame fool you. She was magnificent.
So she can go.
She was 10 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
We'll find out on September 20th if that's still a thing.
I don't know. When I was watching it and she came out and everyone's gassing her up and she's sitting on the rope across from Becky. And Becky charged her and she hit her with that spear. I said, okay.
Picture perfect.
That was a good fucking spear. Like the technique was there. I'm like, oh, maybe she was actually good. I was actually waiting to see what you were gonna say on her.
That was the double leg that Raja Jackson should have executed.
Yeah,
that would have been safer and more of a work, but I digress. So AJ Lee was on the independents for a while. She was the one who went to NXT with the big sob story that she used to sleep in her car and she didn't have anybody and she was alone and all that stuff. And then she was on the indie circuit for a while and she got picked for an NXT. She did NXT when NXT was a contest thing. Remember, like before it became a company, when they used to just do contests and games and shit, and people would vote for who they want to stay and all that. Like Brian Danielson did in the beginning. That was the first female cast of NXT, and she was a part of that. And I loved her look. I got a thing for the short Latinas, so I was paying a sharp eye on this one. And when she was at NXT, I really didn't think much of it. But when she got to WWE, to the main roster, something clicked. Her skill set, she is an amazing storyteller. She was ahead of her time. She was doing shit in the women's division that was so good. They had to get her the fuck out of the women's division. Because at the time, they just didn't want the women. In all honesty, let's throw it all on the floor here. They didn't want the women to be that over. She was tremendously successful in the women's division. So much, in fact, that they took her out. She had a run as the general manager of Raw. She was a manager or a valet, whatever the other, for many superstars. She was involved in the CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, WWE Championship feud program, whatever. There was like a love triangle thing going on. She was in the ring cutting promos against Vince McMahon so many times. And that's the seal of approval. When Vince wants to work with you personally, you got your shit together. And she did a really phenomenal job. And then she had like a year run with the Divas title. And so where the beginning and the wheels start to fall off is she started getting a lot of heat in the locker room because she's the female Punk. She doesn't know when to shut her fucking mouth, essentially, is what it comes down to. A lot of shit talking, a lot of arrogance, a lot of confidence, however you want to explain it. And even to the point where she took it to Twitter, she took it to the social media, and she took it to Stephanie McMahon's neck. That's not the direction you want to go in when you want longevity. So there was some issues going on there. So she left very unceremoniously. Also, timeline-wise, I have to remind people, she left after Punk. So Punk left in 2014. AJ was still here. And she didn't leave until like a year later or some shit. And then they were both gone. And there was a lot of talk on social media about how WWE was being petty because I don't know if you remember the story, they officially fired him on his wedding day. That was the exact day they chose to let the guy go. And I remember AJ being on a podcast years later, non-wrestling related, but they were asking her about her departure from WWE and all that stuff. And she was telling the story about the stuff that happened to Punk, but she goes, I want everybody to remember, they didn't just ruin his wedding day. It was my wedding day too. I'm the bride. He wasn't the only one that got fired, because she also walked away from her contract and from the company and stuff like that. So there was a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes, and she told a little bit of that story yesterday also about a mental health issue she was having. A lot of stuff going on. And so for a while, the talk is that those two, Punk and AJ, were just never coming back for years. It was double-sided. They don't want to come back, and the WWE doesn't want them. And we got a little peek on Unreal about the relationship between Triple H and Punk when they were telling that story, about how the whole thing went down and how they separated, and then what it took for them to come back to the same page. That there were moments in between where there was a conversation of trying to get him to come back, and then Triple H goes, well, he's the same guy, same problem, so we're not doing it. And they both got to a point where they felt like they were grown and mature enough to say what needed to be said, and let's see if we can do business. And they've done gangbusters business. Something about women, though, and holding those goddamn grudges. And I think, it's been a while now since Punk has been back and still nothing. I got to real stern feeling in my heart that in order for this to have worked, that means AJ and Steph had to have a conversation. I don't know if I want to be in the room for that one, but if she's back, that means it ended positively. But, man, if the husbands had to sit down, the wives had to. So that was a weird conversation to fucking have to have. And then they released the video backstage. Apparently she signed her contract the day of the return. It's a multi-year deal, full-time. We'll see how that works out.
Well, I could imagine it was very similar to the way Triple H explained talking to Punk that time.
Yeah.
And that he just heard it in his voice and was like, and Stephanie's let's be real. Stephanie's in a different place in her life right now too. I mean, she almost lost her fucking husband. That'll change you.
She almost lost her husband. She's about to lose her father at any given fucking day. Apparently, this asshole just had a car accident in Connecticut in the Merritt Parkway the other day and almost fucking died. So
listen,
she's living every day right now.
She's got kids to take care of. She's got a company to run. She's watching her husband do business. She's watching her husband. I don't want to say swallow his pride. I wouldn't take it that far.
He's eating a lot of shit though.
But that's the thing too, right? Like, it's an ego check where I'm sure he has his stance and ideology about certain things because he was in the locker room when Punk was around, right?
Yeah, and that's what they talked about.
So
they mentioned that.
So they have their own experience and stuff like that. But with that, he's also where he stands, and Stephanie as well, is eating Vince's shit. There's a lot of stuff that he's reneging on that we thought Vince would never allow. So there's proof that he's like, he may not see things the same way or what's best for business, or he's putting the business ahead of his ego. Right. And Stephanie's watching that. And I'm sure Stephanie's in the room, and I'm sure she has her opinion on certain things as well. And she's following what he's doing and all that stuff like that. So now that it's her turn and she's been through her life, and the fact that let's not brush past the fact that AJ Lee was able to get an authentic therapy chant in the WWE, which is fucking wild. She obviously has different energy. I mean, I don't know the chick, but I could tell she definitely has like more of a like grown up approach. Like she looks better. I didn't even know what she looked like before, but she definitely looks like she feels better now. So I couldn't imagine Stephanie having that.
She was always
have a conversation and felt
she was always in shape for her small frame, but she looks toned and muscular as fuck.
No, I meant energy, not look. I meant like the way
she's got to be more docile now than she was before. She's approaching 40.
She just had but she has like a certain, like she's just kind of, again, I don't know her from before. She just seems like she's a little bit more at peace. Like you could tell when someone's having fun and when they're stressed out. And she kind of looks like she was having fun with it. So,
this time, yeah. Yeah, but you know what it is? They're both rested. They're both and Punk, for all the bullshit Punk put him through and for all the bullshit Triple H put Punk through, the argument that both of them were making eventually came true. Triple H wanted Punk to be more of a company guy. I think Triple H looked at Punk and realized he had talent. And he could tell a story, and he could go in the ring, and he could be more than just your typical professional wrestler. He was just Punk was a Punk guy. That's all that it was. So it rubbed him the wrong way. Whereas the other way, Punk didn't really feel like Triple H saw him as a top guy, main event player. And so the two of them went to war constantly trying to prove their ideologies. Now you fast forward, when you look at the Unreal footage of them at WrestleMania 41, and you see Triple H constantly giving CM Punk the flowers. You're a main event guy. You're a top guy. This is your fucking main event. That line that CM Punk said in his promo package where he goes, "This is my night. This is my main event." That was Triple H's feedback. Let him know. It's your shit. This is it. This is the moment. But then on the flip side, you kind of see CM Punk's change in demeanor where he is talking to the young guys now, and he's doing
the
coaching things now, and he's being more friendly and more approachable from people, and he's lending that wisdom and that knowledge, yeah, I'll watch the match, and here's what you guys should do, and here's some stuff that you guys might want to think about adding, and he's being that player coach kind of player that everyone knew he could be. He just didn't want to be because he felt, if I stop pushing, they won't make me a main eventer. So now that he's comfortable being slotted in as a main event, he main evented SummerSlam. So it's like he's comfortable now. So now that he's comfortable, the shield has come down, the walls have come down, and they're just making money at this point now. So now you turn your head, you look at the women. Steph's doing her own thing. She's got the podcast going. She's got a show on ESPN. She's interviewing all these different people. Finally, she has her own medium where she's the star and she could do her own thing. And AJ went off and did her writing and her book. She's a best-selling author. She did all this stuff, and now she can come back to the company in a situation of want and not need. She didn't need to come back to WWE. She didn't need them, and they didn't need her, but they want each other. So that makes for a different scenario now. To see AJ Lee sign her contract and then hug Triple H, it's just like growth. You look at that, you go, you know what? That's
but
growth.
it's also like you can tell she probably sees how much happier Punk is too, and I'm sure she appreciates that.
Well,
like how much he wants to be in the business, and like the fact that he's actually being taken care of right now. I'm sure she's like, all right, fucking, I got respect for you guys now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if Punk went back home at any point in time, it was just like, yo, this place is still the shits. Don't even fucking bother. And one of the things that stands out to me was the multi-year deal, which is amazing to me because when the rumor first started, this could be the night, and it started really picking up speed, and WWE started themselves teasing it. You say to yourself, oh, okay, this could be the night it's going to happen. Our thought process, me and Steph, was, okay, she'll come back, she'll do the storyline. They've been chanting her name for years to be in the Royal Rumble. So now it happens, right? Now we get her in the Royal Rumble. We can get her a high-profile situation at WrestleMania, and then maybe just take a break again. She doesn't need to do it hard body and blah, blah, blah. And then we find out she signed multiple years at a full-time deal. So you're like, okay. so it's like, all right, so you got plans, right? So much like we just gave Punk props for kind of being that player, coach, whatever, that's going to be AJ moving forward too. She's got a lot of shit that she can show these people, and the one thing that she can do is the one thing that for whatever reason can't be taught to these other people. She can tell a story. She knows exactly how to do it. How to lay it out, how to cut these promos, how to play up to the character, how to play up to a gimmick. She hadn't been AJ Lee in a number of years, and she nailed that entrance like she did it 2 days ago. She did the head nod, the skip around the ring, the sit on the ropes, the whole shebang. She nailed every aspect. It was almost as if she did that entrance just last week. Perfect. Like she said on another interview, like riding a bike. She just, as soon as the music hit, that building lost its fucking mind. I didn't pop, but I definitely got the goosebumps where I was just like, oh, you can't help it.
I didn't pop, but I'll tell you what. I'm bought into this now. I do not want to see this shit. And I remember I said that in the last one, dude. I don't want this. I want Punk and I want Seth. But now, I don't know if it's because I'm fucking married. I don't know. But this shit was going hard for me when I was watching the clip.
Yeah.
Like Becky going, like seeing her and Becky doesn't really seem too far over the top. I don't know. Maybe it's just match of energy. I don't know. But if Becky felt better here, she was still doing her thing, like selling, getting the booze, talking to the crowd, calling minutes. You know what the heel's supposed to do, classic heel supposed to do. And then she was just kind of feeding back into it, and I think the play between them was pretty good. And I loved when Seth came out like a fucking idiot, dude. Like us guys, so fucking stupid. We come out there, we tell our wife, "Hey, calm down. I got this. All right, I'm gonna fucking settle this in 2 seconds. All right." Then he looks at AJ, he's like, "Hey, look, just give me the belt back." Like, what's I gonna see? She's like, yeah, I'll give you a belt. And he was like, see, look at that, just that easy. See, come, I got this. I'm gonna take care of this. Like something about that whole encounter, dude. I'm like, dude, I feel him, man. Sometimes you gotta go in there and fucking solve the problem, dude. Sometimes that's all you gotta do. I don't know. They played that really good, and I'd hate to say this, dude. I'm actually pretty excited for this fucking match. And I want to see her go. And if there's unfortunately, you got it in my head now. She's the new Shawn Michaels for me now. I can't not see it the way she sells everything, and I think that's maybe what I was like noticing, but not really noticing. So I'm excited to see how her and AJ go. I want to see AJ for the first time, and I know it's kind of I'll give her obviously a little bit of leeway. She hasn't done it in a minute, but from her, like you said, from her entrance, the way she did that takedown, the way she executed those moves, I mean, I think she still got it in her. I don't know what she had before, but she looks great already, and just that little bit of movement she's done. And I think, especially if she's signing a multi-deal, I think a tag match between these two to kind of take a little bit of the weight off of her so she doesn't get gassed early, to get her feet wet again, get in here. But I think we're foreshadowing with that Intercontinental title on her waist. And if that's the case, and she can really do what she does, and her reputation holds up, I think that is a perfect place to put that belt, and that will do something for this belt with her return and everything like that. So we'll see.
We'll see. The little pint-sized diva is back in action, and then personally, I can't wait to see what she's able to do. And one of the things that describes her, and I will wrap with this, is the ideology where I would tell people, because I've been asked by a lot of people, it's been 10 years, so there's a lot of people who are watching who come to me and they go, well, what was so special about her? She was ahead of her time. Everything that you guys are seeing the women do now, she was doing in the diva era. She was alone for the most part. But now there is a litany of women that she could work with, and not just work with, but tell genuine stories with. You remember when we were saying about how Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and then they booked it in a way where they kind of made it make sense. And I was like, whoever put that match together was a genius, because they used Liv perfectly in the way that they used her, and Rhea looked like a monster. She wrestled big and all, they perfectly like that.
Yeah, I mean, they saw something we didn't. They saw that
right.
Alexa was flexible and Rhea knows how to pin.
In that situation, someone coached up Liv.
That shit went right over your head.
I didn't hear what you said. Go ahead, say it again.
I said someone saw that Alexa. Did you say Alexa Bliss?
No, I said
Liv
Liv
Morgan.
I said Liv Morgan.
Right. Yeah, no, I fucked it up anyway, so it doesn't matter. I said, yeah, someone saw that Liv Morgan was flexible and Rhea knows how to pin.
Oh, yeah, the Belgian dip pin, baby.
God, such a great pin. I tell you what, that's what made me a Liv fan. That pin there.
But to give you a sense of where AJ is on the pecking order, Liv did an amazing job that night, but she was coached up to do that. AJ wouldn't have been coached up. She would have known. They're gonna go, hey, you got Rhea. Okay, we got this. Back up.
I mean, you're gonna see Lee and Rhea at some point, I would imagine.
We'll see. But there's a laundry list of. I mean, AJ and Io right now. Like, I have to kind of also pull back.
AJ and Io.
No, but here's the thing. I have to kind of pull back a little bit, actually, now that I'm getting ahead of myself, because that was the concern I had for Punk. At 40-something. When he comes back and you're like, oh, Punk and this guy, Punk and that guy. And I'm like, yeah, but like, is Punk gonna, Punk is, advanced in age somewhat. Is he gonna be able to keep up? And
yeah, but hold on though, because that's not fair. So even though Punk was not on the scene of WWE, he was active those years.
Right.
He was training for UFC. He was still wrestling, so he was still putting miles on his body.
Yeah, AJ
I don't
hasn't.
think she has.
No, she hasn't.
So she should be just as flexible and bouncy.
But is she gonna have the built up tolerance? When you're on
And
the,
that's what this tag team match is for.
It's-
And that's
it's a
what the
start.
first couple matches are for. Yep. Just
it's
to
a
see
start.
where we're at.
Let's see
That's
where
it.
we're at. Yeah,
Witness
it's
test.
not like we started her off inside the elimination chamber or some shit, right? We just
Exactly.
it's a tag match.
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah, welcome back, AJ Lee. Get ready to show the world what you can do, and doing your thing. And so we got a lot of stuff here. Next week is the actual pay-per-view. Next Saturday is the actual pay-per-view. So we'll do a quick little rundown of the pay-per-view next week when we come back here. I got to go to the restroom, so we got to get out of here. This is our show here. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for downloading. Thank you. Oh, wait. Before we do the wrap, I forgot. Before we do the wrap, I forgot one quick thing. October 11th lands on a Saturday. Sometime that week, I want to do the 8th anniversary show. Now, last time we talked about it, we had discussed that your situation was in question marks. 100% understand. But I still want to do something for that week, even if we don't do something live or whatever the case may be. So I'm just putting it into the ether for the folks at home that the 8th anniversary of the show is coming up. We don't know exactly what we're doing just yet, but we're going to do something because we haven't done an anniversary show basically since the 5th one, which was the finale. So I want to do another one. I want to do one this year. We're gonna do something. I don't know what it is, but I'm just putting it out there for you guys that this October will mark the 8th year of the show. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out all the social media to stay up to date as to what's going to happen during that time. But I'm just putting it out there for everybody out there who's listening. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for sharing. And of absolutely course, thank you guys for enjoying this episode of OUM's Uncensored Mind. We'll see you next week.
Mic drop. Wait a minute. This is too much. Cooking it like a pro. Wrap it up, everybody. Show's over.